will start the stream. While we are waiting, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. With the code PPRT1, you can save 15% on your next checkout of the Lawnmower 4.0. Promise we're starting soon. We developed a new bug here somehow, so just give us a few moments to get that sorted. But but every day is a new day when dealing with Cody's in particular. I've left you waiting too long. So why don't we take a look here as we start up this session. We're on an outlap early on here in qualifying with Gucci. Lucci, he's going to lead the way here from one of the Haas's further down the grid. Hello and welcome everybody out there in the chat world. My name is Curbsy, and we are here for Xbox Tier 1 in Suzuka. Now, we saw a brilliant race in Tier 2 that saw T-Burke on the top step of the podium with Mike Yunt and Ollie's on the next two steps there. What a brilliant race that was. Overtakes galore, great racing, great strategy. A bit of a safety car in the mix as well to just throw a wrench in the middle of everything, but it was good fun along the way there. Please let me know if the volume levels are there and good. We saw 12 racers take part in the Tier 2 race, and only one of them qualified on medium tires in this race. We already have 4 out on the medium tires out of a 17-driver grid here on board with Gucci Lucci in the Williams. Let's see what he's able to do as he crosses the line now to start his hot lap. Williams has been an interesting team in real-world F1, all of a sudden coming up with a few points in a row through various races. We saw them score points in Monza, as well as Spa, obviously, everybody's favorite race, maybe in the history of Formula One there. The most exciting ever, some would say. Groggers, back in here once again. Thank you for joining us. And to no one's surprise, there is a purple Sector 1 from Gucci Lucci there into the hairpin here. Let's see what he's able to do on the soft tires. Gucci Lucci struggled in Baku a bit in qualifying and then was out of the race a bit further on there. He saw himself qualify, I believe, down and around the P13 or 14 range. Let's see what he's able to do in this Williams, though, on this circuit. I don't know how much he's been practicing here. Haven't been in touch with many of the drivers here. Groggers, I thought you'd be out on track right now, as we have what I thought would be you there in P3 in the Alpine. There's the Williams of Gucci Lucci into the Casio Triangle and past the pit entry here. And let's see, Gucci Lucci marks the timing sheets with a 29.898 to start off this qualifying session. It's a decent time there. It would have been good enough for P2, I believe, in Tier 2. Let's see what it is here in Tier number 1. Oh, is that you, Corny? Yeah, did I call you an enigma? Did I use that word? I believe it was right here. You are an enigma. Because you're very quick, and then all of a sudden, I see some issues there. Yeah, Groggers, aren't we all nosy league racers? Well, all of you in the chat, not me. Never participated in a league race. Don't think I ever will. Possibly, but most likely not. It would be an embarrassment. Here's Indian Cyclone across the line into provisional pole position. It's a 29.4 from the McLaren driver. Hey, Ace was able to set a 29.7, but we have 2 McLarens right now locking out the front row. It's a 29.0 for King Kirk there. A great lap. Let's see what else we have to keep an eye on right now. The AlphaTauri of Mortport driver we know is very quick. Groggers, there will absolutely be a Portimao race. On the PC side of things, I believe the Portimao race may come next week, starting on Monday, depending on how the votes go. If not, it will be in 3 weeks' time, just to give drivers and racers alike a bit more used to the circuit. But it could come as soon as next week, and that will be decided in the coming days. And as far as the Xbox side of things go, I don't know if it's on the calendar. I hope it is, because from what I hear, it's a pretty fun circuit to participate in. Here comes Port down into the Casio Triangle. I agree with you, Groggers. 100%. Mike Yunt has joined, as here goes Port across the line. A 28.8, good enough for provisional pole position. No surprise there, a very quick driver up there challenging already for pole. As like I was saying, Mike Yunt's here, a perennial podium sitter in the Tier 2 class. I'm upset not seeing you here in Tier 1. I'll let them know, Corny. However, I don't know if it's possibly a setup thing that as you go through Spoon, all of a sudden you just start mowing some grass in your Kubota that you had there. As through Degner 1, an interesting line from B-Dunk. The driver at the top of the championship standings right now. If the website wasn't bugging out on me, I'd let you know what every single point scenario is, but I believe it is only 3 points separating B-Dunk from the next driver down, which may very well be Mort Port, but I'll confirm that in a moment here. Keep an eye on B-Dunk as he goes through Spoon. Manages some pretty good RPMs through there, keeps the car revving nicely and carries on through the back straight. Let's take a look at those standings. We have something, if the website will cooperate. Down into the Casio Triangle goes B-Dunk here. He won last week in Baku. The Alpine has 54 points on the season. Can he grab pole position right now? It's close enough. It's a 28-7. He's going to lead Mortport by under 1/10 of a second for that pole position there. And B-Dunk really stretched it across the line. He cut across that inside corner and brilliantly done there from the Alpine driver. Jump around. I thought Alphanesis was out on a hot lap right now. It doesn't look like any driver's out on a hot lap, possibly Ronan here, but B-Dunk is leading Port by 3 points in the standings. He's leading Alphanesis by 14. He's leading the number 24 Aston Martin, I believe that's Funky Cactus, by 19 points, and he's leading King Kirk by 24 points. So there's still a lot to fight for in the driver standings as far as the constructors go. Alpine leading the way there by 5 points to AlphaTauri, with Aston Martin only 6 points behind. So Aston Martin getting a couple good points finishes there is holding them up top, but unfortunately only one driver in the race this evening for the Aston Martin team. See what Ronan does through sector number 2 here on a hot lap. At least appears so, as he's absolutely flying through Spoon. Definitely lost a bit of time there, goes way out wide, but manages to not go outside of track limits. And as he goes down the back straight here, what can Ronan do as he crosses the sector 2 marker? He's 3/10 up on his time right now. That won't move him up any grid positions, as most drivers are in the 29s. But the Alfa Romeo teammate Gert there at a 30.1. Sitting in P8. Here goes Ronan across the line. Does not improve. Right now, we have a few drivers to keep an eye on as well. Silkweaver will be the next driver to cross the line. He's on these medium tires, and he's looking to get up towards the top of the grid. Can he do it? Silkweaver up into P6. What a lap there from the Mercedes driver. Groggy Oregano here. He's invalidated his lap time. Shari F1 we should keep an eye on. I know a very quick driver, a race winner here at PPR Esports. Yeah, Groggers, we all thought that you were Groggy Oregano, who is in this race right now. Here he is in the Alpine, teammate of B-Dunk, leading the Constructors' Championship right now. And there he goes, on cue, right off into the wall. Brilliantly done. And that's a shout out to Groggers in the chat right there. Back to Shari as he's coming through. Gets a bit loose on the rear. And it's a 30.6. Not a competitive time there for Shari. I did. That was a commentator's curse if you've ever seen one. That was almost brilliant, wasn't it? As soon as you switch over, you see a bit of a spin there. Almost like he was watching the stream. And now taking out some barriers for possibly no reason at all. Funky Cactus on a hot lap right now in the Aston Martin, a driver who's been very quick all season long. I'll never forget his DNF from round 1 in Bahrain, which, by the way, I love Bahrain being round 1 under the lights. It's just a beautiful atmosphere in terms of racing. I won't mention anything about the actual climate and political climate there, but Funky Cactus had a DNF there on the last lap of the race. He was on for a podium position. And here goes Funky Cactus into 130R. And you can see that's how you take it through 130R. Cuts the curve just a little bit. Doesn't even need the outside. But I'll tell you what, with an invalidation of a lap time, it's not going to matter too much here. Morport improving on his lap time right now. And he's improving by enough to contest for that pole position that's currently held on to by B-Dunk. We have a yellow flag in sector number 2, but that looks like it's cleared up. Oh, and what has happened for Port there? That didn't make any sense at all. And we're going to watch an immediate replay on that. What just happened to Port? As we're watching this back here, he just lost it on the exit curb of Spoon and straight into the wall. We'll just watch it one more time here to get a good look. Watch him on the exit of Spoon here. Just gets a bit loosey-goosey in the rear, and Port finds the wall. Oh, wow. That is quite surprising. Zenify out on a hot lap right now in the Ferrari. Yeah, definitely had too much power. That's a shame, and a possible overcorrection as well. I wish I could see the steering wheel from the angle that we had. Oh, way wide there from Zenify. That's going to invalidate the lap time. Shari out here is not on a hot lap. At least we hope so. Alpha Nesis just grabbed provisional pole position right there. A 28.5. Indian Cyclone not contesting right now. Who else is there to keep an eye on? I think, well, I was going to say Funky Cactus. Nobody else. And how much time do we have left in qualifying here? One day we'll find out. Ooh, excuse me. Trying to see who we can go on board with right now. Everybody's either on an out lap or in the pits. Gucci Lucci seems to have started a hot lap now, so we'll go on board with him and keep an eye on some other drivers who may cross the line shortly. It seems like that's going to be the Alpine. Is that possibly B-Dunk? Is he on a hot lap right now? He's invalidated, so not going to matter. Can Gucci Lucci move up the board a bit? Yeah, I wish I could see how much time is left, but we apparently have a yellow flag in Sector 3 for the remainder of the event. Oh, there it is. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualifying, these are going to be your final couple of laps around this circuit. And with another yellow flag in Sector 3, I actually can't believe it. I don't think this game could might mean more than it does, but it does. Every time I try and do something with this game, it just completely destroys me. And there goes Gucci Lucci through Spoon, where we saw Port DNF there. He's still sitting P3 right now, so unless a few other drivers get up the grid, goes through 130R. Goes Gucci Lucci here into Casio Triangle. That was a nearly a lockup. It wasn't, and he's just going to abandon the lap here. So Gucci Lucci felt like it wasn't good enough. Maybe he can get into the pits, get on a fresh set of tires, and get back out. It's going to be close, though. Night Shrimp seems to be improving on his time. I have not seen Katra. I'm not sure, Corny. Unless I'm missing something. I thought she was a Ferrari driver. Let's see her out here. Here comes Night Shrimp hunting towards the line. What can he do in the Ferrari? Moves up a position ahead of Shari F1 there, though Shari's not exactly the driver you want to have behind you. He is very quick. Gert in P10 right now. Seems to be out on a hot lap. Killer F1 is going to be behind Gert right now. There goes the Alfa Romeo through with Hey H just behind. I was under the impression that Hey Katra was in the Ferrari. I don't know exactly, but the Alfa Romeo Gert. What can he do through Sector 2? Let's keep an eye on the top right now. What do we see? He's down right now on his time by 5/100ths of a second. Through Sector 3 here, can he improve? This is going to be important because he needs at least 1/10 to move up just one position. He's going to stay out for right now, and he feels like this is the best time he can do. He does move up into P9. A great third sector there, but somebody just jumped all the way up. It was Hey Ace up into P5. Alpha Nice is still sitting P1 right now. Shari F1 on an out lap. That is a driver to keep an eye on for that final lap of qualifying here. Marlone out on a hot lap right now with Ace on an in lap. It looks like Shari might be the driver to watch with Marlone here, as well as Zenify starting a hot lap. T-Burke is back in chat there, rooting on King Kirk. Oh, and there's a tire in the middle of the circuit. Shades of Kimi Räikkönen in Austria. 2019, oh, and there goes, or 2020, there goes Zenify off into the gravel. And this lap will be about my lap time as he gets back out on track. That tire's still sitting out on the circuit there. We love this game, don't we? As Shari F1 comes through here. I thought we were supposed to have tethers on these wheels. Here comes Shari through Sector 1. And we have a yellow flag predominantly throughout this session. What could Shari do into the hairpin here? I feel this is a driver to watch for one of those top 6 positions or so. Shari's very quick. Pole right now is at a 28.5 set by Alpha Nice's teammate to Gucci Lucci there. Gucci Lucci down in P12, so a bit of polar opposites there. Is the Williams team. The Red Bull team, Shari F1 and Hey Ace right now. As there goes Silkweaver up into P3, a 28.8 from the Mercedes driver. He has been all but consistent here. Just beautiful lap times being set in by him. Just time and time again, keep an eye out for him in the races. He's looking for a race win here. Shari F1 going down into the Casio Triangle here. Definitely has a chance to move up the board a bit as he goes towards the line here. What can Shari F1 do? Across the line goes Shari F1 into P9. Definitely has a bit more pace in there to keep an eye on. Night Shrimp is improving right now. I can at least move up past Gucci Lucci here. And what's going to happen in this qualifying session is Night Shrimp might be our last driver across. Stays P14. B-Dunk right now. He's in second and some change down. And just not improving on his time right now is B-Dunk. He's 8 seconds down now. I'm just happy with P2, content with P2, we should call it. And no other drivers setting a qualifying time, so it looks like Alpha Nice's will be your pole sitter for tonight's race. All right, so with qualifying sorted here, we're still going to wait for some time to get drivers into the pits. Don't know why we waste time with doing this, but I guess it's just part of it here. So there is your qualifying order for the race. Alpha Nice's on pole position with B-Dunk lining up next to him. King Kirk in P3 with Silkweaver in P4. Morport P5. Indian Cyclone sitting in P6. Good start for the McLaren team there. Ace and Marlone are in the next 2 positions with Shari and Killer rounding out the top 10. Zenify in P11 beats out Gert, Gucci Lucci, Night Shrimp, with Ronin, Groggy Oregano, and Funky Cactus rounding out the rest of the qualifying there. The last 2 did not set a qualifying time. More McLaren fans in chat. I've seen quite a few of them. All right, Quick Tongue, I'll take care of that after this race. So you're saying I can move where the caution flags show up so I can keep an eye on the time the entire time there? Gets a bit frustrating. Also unfortunate there for you in that race. I know you guys have the pace in the AlphaTauri there to really challenge for the Constructors, if not the World Driver Championship in Tier 2. Look forward to seeing the rest of the races there. We do have a bit of overcast in this race, possible rain conditions here as well. Keep an eye on that as we get started here in just a few moments' time. You can see the marshals there are getting ready. The one marshal missing the back part of his hairdo. Got a little bit of a toilet bowl going on. As the Williams of Alphanesis lines up in provisional, no, now pole position ahead of B-Dunk there. And we'll take a look at the tire compounds as well in this race. It's going to be Alphanesis throughout Zenify on the softs. And when you get into that free choice, Zenify's the only driver on the softs there. All right, thank you for that, Quick Tongue. Appreciate it. Gert, Gucci Lucci, and Night Shrimp go onto the mediums on the free choice, with Ronan and Groggy going onto the hards. Funky joins those other three on the mediums there as well. And we'll switch over to this as we get this race started. Groggers, that has to be your vote in this race, I would imagine. T-Burke rooting for a Gert and Gucci top 10. That is your race winner from Tier 2 there in chat. Joining and supporting here at PPR Esports, where you can join at PPResports.com, discord.gg/PPR Esports to get into the Discord. Port, I think, is the driver to keep an eye on here. Had an unfortunate qualifying there where right around here is where we saw him losing the rear and bending it straight into that wall right there where the marshal was waving that green flag. As the drivers warm up their tires a bit, we move through the order. And there is the AWS predicted pit stop strategy for the day. Nobody ever listens to it, but it's nice that that graphic pops up for us. Funky Cactus will be bringing up the rear in this race. Look for him to be on an early charge here. I know Funky has a lot more pace than qualifying P17, and that wasn't evident by setting no time in qualifying. You wouldn't really know. Alpha is already at the start of the grid as Funky Cactus is still coming through the rear. Who is that Haas there, I wonder? It's Killer F1 all the way at the back here, so we'll wait a while for Killer F1 to get up to his grid position. And wait for those red lights to come on. So here we have it with the driver set. Get those RPMs up to the right functioning level. And we have 5 red lights on, which means 5 red lights off right away there. The Williams is away well with the McLaren as well there. We see a Red Bull moving over and a Haas in the background. B-Dunk and Alphanesis have gotten away brilliantly there. We see a bit of movement going on towards the back of the grid, but I'll tell you what, everybody's staying calm, cool, and collected here through the mid part of the field. As we move back towards the latter half of the field, everybody back here looking very well maintained throughout the first couple of S's as well. Back up towards the front, it's going to be Alphanesis leading B-Dunk
just as it started. Not too much movement going early on here. Silkweaver there in P3, looking to get an early attack on the Alpine of B-Dunk here. Needs to stay close as these top three have been quick throughout the season. King Kirk lost out of position at the start of this race. Has to look out for Port and Ace as well. We're closing in. Looks like Shari got through on Marlone. They're swapping positions right now, and Shari might be backwards. He is. Shari all the way to the back of the grid. No, Groggy all the way to the back of the grid. As we move back through the order here, here is where the attacking is going on right now. It's going to be King Kirk in P4 right now, looking to hold off Port, Ace, and Cyclone. Marlone getting involved in that battle as well, but might be losing out to the back here. And how about the McLarens putting on a nice early showing here? You absolutely cannot give up, especially with what we saw in the last couple of races here in the Xbox Leagues. Alphanisa sets the fastest lap of the race. He's going to be 5/10 away from B-Dunk there. DRS not available just yet. Be available at the end of this lap. So we come through turn number 1s, 2, and 3 here. He's staying well maintained. Looks like Ronan and Gucci Lucci are close. Coming through the S's. Funky up 6 positions here in the Aston Martin. Had a great opening lap, got through many drivers, and now Gert seems to be the next driver that he's lining up here. Can he do it after Degner's 1 and 2 here? He already has a purple sector 1. Let's see what he does into the hairpin here. Funky Cactus, a very quick driver in that Aston Martin. As we have yellow flags, it's going to be Ace off there. As we see Funky Cactus getting involved here with Gert. And that's Silkweaver going through on Kirk. There must have been contact between those two drivers. As here goes Silkweaver right through on Zenify. That seemed way too easy. There's Marlone off. It's absolute mayhem. What is going on right now? Shari all the way at the back of the grid. And I apologize for what I'm missing because I can't really figure it out. Look at them. They're going almost 4 wide there behind this. Through 130R, we can see drivers off in the background there. Funky Cactus all the way up into P7 after starting P17. What a start to the race for him. You're right, Garagi Oregano up a few positions into P14. At the front of the grid, it's going to be B-Dunk and Alphanisa still fighting it out. Really where all the action's going on right now. We missed whatever battling was going on through Spoon. Looks like King Kirk might have some issues there as Gucci Lucci's attacking, but Gucci Lucci's back through there. And look at this view of a battle going on between Gucci Lucci and King Kirk. Who's just behind that battle? It's going to be Ronan there as they go side by side through the Dunlop curve. Did call you an extraordinary driver. I was there as Kirk is just ahead of Gucci Lucci, Ronan, and now Marlone closing in here as well. Got Gert just up ahead there. As we go into the hairpin, all drivers staying in single file line for now. And this is quite difficult to keep up with all the battling that's going on at the moment. Marlone seems to be the closest to any type of attacking maneuver here. And up towards the front, Alphanesis has separated the gap from B-Dunk. Ooh, as we see Gucci Lucci having a good exit there, gets through on King Kirk outside of Spoon. Now just behind there is going to be Ronan and the Haas of Marlone going at it shortly. Through 130R is going to be Gucci Lucci up at a P9. Gert in P8 there is going to be just ahead of this battle and actually opening the gap a little bit there. And Gert getting a nice tow along from Funky Cactus, who has closed in as King Kirk goes into the pits there. Funky Cactus has closed in on Zenify, and Silkweaver here, who's battling with Morport. Here he goes up the inside of Morport. They're side by side going into the S's now. And look at this bit of battling going on between the Mercedes and AlphaTauri. For some prolonged breaks here in this stream, as if you were there for the Tier 2 stream, obviously conducted that solo. And And it's me, Curbsy, back once again to do it solo as Silkweaver does it solo as well. Going wheel to wheel with Morport just ahead of Zenify here for that P4 position. That was some brilliant racing as Port went a bit wider just to get that better run, and he held on to the position for now. But Silkweaver's not satisfied with that. It looks like he's going to attack back shortly and see how close these two drivers are right now as they're going at it quite a bit here. Now we have a three-way battle and close to a four-way battle with Funky Cactus closing in. How about up towards the front? It's going to be B-Dunk closing in on Alpha Nisus here. Can he get even a bit closer down towards turn number 1 here? He's going to have that DRS wing open. And not just close enough. I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you for that. As here goes Silkweaver and Morport going at it. Silkweaver able to get through easily there with the DRS wing open. Zenify getting towed along here with Funky now definitely involved in this battle. Gert has lost out a bit to Funky there, who Funky's just on a different level. He's up 10 positions in this race so far. Ronan up 6 positions. The biggest losers so far have unfortunately been King Kirk, Shari, and Ace, who all find themselves towards the back of the grid. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It's going to be Haas. It's Marlone. Marlone is off right now. There goes Groggy Oregano through. Where's Kirk at? Hopefully he doesn't get caught up in this. Doesn't look like he will. Back up towards the front right now. Zenify getting close with Port there. And what was I looking for here? This is what I was looking for. There goes the tires. Port still ahead. And here you can see the different strategies going on. Funky Cactus is on those mediums and still catching up to the drivers ahead. This is a pretty good strategy right now. It seemed to have paid off for T-Berg, who won in tier number 1, or tier number 2. This is tier number 1, with Funky Cactus leading the way on the mediums in P7. Alpha Nice is leading the way overall. Leads B-Dunk and Indian Cyclone. Indian Cyclone kind of in a weird gap right now as Silkweaver sets the fastest lap of the race so far. And Zenify wishes Port did not have that DRS. Ooh, and there goes Zenify. He's off to the side of the track right now. Funky Cactus is going to go through. Where's Gert right now? He's not going to be able to capitalize just yet, but he will close in the gap just a little bit there. Back up towards the front. B-Dunk looks to be maintaining the gap brilliantly to Alpha Nisus, but take a look at that yellow bar that we mentioned earlier on. It is not very used up by Alpha Nisus, is it? I don't want to say it too loud, as I know B-Dunk's always listening, always monitoring. Marlone picks up a 3-second time penalty there. Indian Cyclone doing a great job here once again, just managing his gap. Silkweaver seems to be closing in, though, as Marlone retires from the session. And I know it can get frustrating early on, but leaving a race guarantees you no points. You stay, you never know how many DNFs you're going to get or how many safety cars may fall into your favor. As they say, it's not over till it's over. Funky Cactus, the closest battling going on right now with Mortport there for this P5 position. Funky Cactus started P17. I believe Port started this P5 or P4 position, so he stayed steady, and Funky has worked his way through. Gert doing a good job as well, maintaining that gap to the soft runner in front, Zenify, as there's Funky and Morport going side by side into turn number 2 there. And that was some of the cleanest driving that you will see here, especially at Suzuka, where it can get really side by side. It's a bit wider of a circuit and brings some brilliant racing, especially in the sim world. As who's dropping down at Silkweaver? He is off, and behind Gert now. Ronan, the next driver down the field. And will Ronan get through here on Silkweaver? Very well may. See, oh, that would be a dangerous overtake. He thinks the better of it, backs out, and Ronan holds on to that P9 position with Silkweaver in P8. So not sure what happened there, but Silkweaver back down the order a bit with B-Dunk here in P2, still chasing down Alpha Nisus. job in this Alpine here. And Gert has picked up a time penalty. It appears through Spoon. And Ronan has been overtaken by Silkweaver, who's actually might have some disconnect issues. Zenify very close to Port in front here. Don't want to see a dangerous overtake into the Casio Triangle, but he's going to be close. Though Port should get towed along by the DRS of Funky Cactus here. Let's see what happens. Oh, he doesn't have it, and here goes Zenify straight through on into P5 there. He's going to overtake Port before the braking zone. And now, quite crucially, Alpha Nesis is outside of that 1 second gap to Bidong, now 9/10. So it's going to hover around that 1 second mark, and that is absolutely huge as Killer F1 and Gucci Lucci swap positions there through turn number 1. But just keep an eye on this gap between Bidong and Alpha Nesis here. That's going to be crucial for Bidong to stay within that second, to not waste too much ERS. It seems like Alpha Nesis has a lot to spare here. One of the quicker Xbox drivers that you'll find out there. Alpha Nesis doing a great job here on these soft tires through Spoon, maintaining that gap from Bidong, who leads the way in the championship right now. And they're not really opening up a gap to Indian Cyclone, which tells me Cyclone's right there on the same level as these two drivers at the front of the grid. But Funky Cactus might be on a different level than everybody else. He's gone from P17 to P14 in 8 laps time. Where can he end up in this race, as he's the only driver in the top 6 to be on those medium tires. A last to first would be insane. Absolutely insane. Haven't seen that for quite some time, as Bidong has maintained that gap quite well, but used up a lot of the ERS to do so. Zenify closer and closer to Funky Cactus there. Morport close as well. Gert kind of in a weird realm right now, as is Silkweavers. They don't have anybody really attacking them and just kind of sitting steady. Ronan and Killer F1 can't really say the same, as they have Gucci Lucci behind, looking to get into the points here. P11 it is right now for the Williams driver from Argentina. Groggy Oregano in P12. He's moved up a few positions here. And good on Groggy to move up the order when it suits him. King Kirk in the McLaren, I believe, has boxed. Let's throw up the stop so far. So, yes, the bottom 4 drivers have pitted in this race so far. King Kirk on the hards. Is he looking to go to the end? They're 4 laps old, 22 laps he would have to go on the hards. That's a tall order. Yeah, Groggers, you're saying surprise no safety car yet. Me as well, but you know what always goes on in the back of your mind? I think we all kind of like safety cars, don't we? As Bidong's into the pit, or no, Alpha Nesis into the pit, so Bidong into P1. So Alpha Nesis blinks first. On lap number 10, he's going to go onto the hards. So he's banking on no safety car here. Oh, what is going on here? Why was that so slow? There was no penalty. I hope that was just a game glitch. That was bizarre. As Bidong into P1. Cyclone into P2 with Funky in P3. If we do see a safety car, Zenify goes off the track. Gert up 1 position. Silkweaver, the next driver to come through. Can he get through cleanly? It looks like he will through Dunlop here. Does get through cleanly. Alpha Nesis also looking to get through. Does manage to get through on the Ferrari. Through Degner too, we see the Williams of Alpha Nesis get through, and Alpha Nesis is already in the P7, but he's got his pit stop out of the way. This is some good racing here from Alpha Nesis. Let's see what Bidong does on this lap. Does he box here to answer Alpha Nesis? Let's see if he goes on the same strategy. Is he hoping for a possible safety car here? Tell us and get a good idea. He's going to stay out for now. Is Bidong, so still confident in his lap times. Indian Cyclone answers the call, goes into the pits. Funky Cactus clearly staying out. Port goes into the pits. Gert, we imagine, is going to stay out. What is Silkweaver going to do? He's right around the mark of Alpha Nesis as well. We can watch him from the view of the one-time race leader. He's going to stay out as well here. Xenify goes into the pits. Ronin is going to stay out. We imagine Gucci Lucci stays out here. He does. So a lot of movement going on right now because of the pit stops, and that has found Gert all the way up into P3. With Funky Cactus P2 and Bidonk in P1. Now, a safety car would do wonders for the drivers in the top 4 right now, but that's something that Alpha Nesis doesn't want. He doesn't need, because he's going on for a race win. Bidonk right now leading the way in the Alpine. Let's take a look at the wheel. This appears to be a possible in-lap from the Alpine. He's absolutely flying. Let's take a look at the Sector 2 time when he gets about 3/4 of the way through this back straight here. So he's about 3/10 off of his fastest lap time. This could very well be an in-lap from the Alpine driver. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Groggers. Doing the mental math there, it appears that Alpha Nesis will very comfortably be in the lead here. Let's see what happens as Bidonk goes in. Funky Cactus is now leading the race after starting dead last, and we have another interesting little glitch there. Gert goes into P2, and where's Alpha Nesis at right now? He's going to comfortably go through on Bidonk. There we see him on the exit there, and a bit more of a run into turn number 1. Shows Alpha Nesis gaining about, what would we call that, about 7/10 or so through that lap, but Bidonk out on the medium tires. So Bidonk can definitely take these mediums to the end of the race. They're going to be a bit more racy here early on, so look for an overtake, if possible, a bit earlier in this battle than later on. Indian Cyclone, Gucci Lucci, and Ronin all within a few tenths of one another. Through Degners 1 and 2. And into the hairpin goes Ronin ahead of Gucci Lucci here. Indian Cyclone is going to be right involved with this battle. He's going to have the quicker tires here, the fresh medium tires. They're going to be very racy right now. With that yellow flag in Sector 3, it appears to be a Ferrari. I'm not sure if that's going to be Xenify. Nitrim DNF. As I mentioned, Marlon has had a DNF earlier on. No, Xenify's still racing with Silkweaver right now, so that is Nitrim DNFing, I believe. As we have Ronin leading the way into 130R here. Get out of that dirty air and be careful. But look how close Indian Cyclone has gotten to Gucci Lucci here. He's even going to go for an overtake. The outside turns to the inside. Hopefully we don't see a replay of what happened in Monza last week there, as we see the chicane overtake. It's going to be side by side between the McLaren and the Williams. Shades of the 90s here going on, as the McLaren is just a nose ahead there into turn number 1 on the right side of your screen. You can see him battling through. Great little squabble there. So again, just a reminder for those of you who care, my name is Curbsy. I'm mostly your broadcaster for the Xbox races as well as PC Tier 1 in North America until Kermit comes back, hopefully next week. I've had a great time doing it. Kermit is the absolute man to watch there in Tier 1, or man to listen to in Tier 1, and I hope he's back next week. If you enjoy the streams here, drop us a follow. Join us at PPResports.com. Hit the Discord link, join the Discord, jump in and talk with us. Even if you just want to talk about F1, you don't even have to join the Discord to be a racer. You just join to have fun. Talk with some like-minded individuals as Indian Cyclone is attacking Ronin here on those soft, medium compound tires, I should say, softer medium tires. Very fresh there. We have a yellow flag through sectors 1 and 2. That's going to be Groggy Oregano causing that issue right now. Sprightly, welcome to the chat. And you're right, it is Funky Town. Funky Cactus leading the way through the race right now. I know that Alpha Nisus is only 10 seconds behind as he got through on Gert there. Now B-Dunk is being held up by Gert, but you know what? They're battling for position right now. Gert has yet to box. So, oh, and there goes B-Dunk. He's going to have a bit of a spinner, and B-Dunk may have just thrown his only chance away as he was only a second off of Alpha Nisus there. Is now going to find himself down behind Ronan. And where is this going on? Oh, and there it goes. B-Dunk once again. He gets tangled up with Mortport. And this has been absolute chaos all of a sudden. So B-Dunk may be well out of contention for the race win here. Though he's still the closest to Alpha Nisus. We have a full safety car for a bizarre reason, as all drivers are still going. I absolutely despise this. Gert needs to get in the pits right away, but how about Funky? Funky's going to go right into the pits here, come out. You would think on the softs, because it'll be blind flat corner and 2-car spun. It's a VSC at most. Putting a full safety car out for this is insanity. Especially in the virtual world, let's be honest. Just look at it from a logical standpoint. That's an insane safety car, but it's here. It's happened. Gert's in. Ronan's in a good position as well, but he doesn't box. That's curious from Ronan. I wouldn't call this game anything near realistic, so let's stay away from that, Groggers. Not anything near realistic. They haven't called safety cars for cars completely crashing on the straight for at least half a lap. We saw that in Baku when Max crashed. It's been absolutely poor this year, is the only way to say about the FIA. So Funky Cactus is now leading the race. He's out on softs. Alpha Nisus boxed as well on the softs. Ronan staying out on the hards is just an interesting call. I don't know if he just missed it, but Gert up into P4, Gucci Lucci in P5, both drivers in good position. B-Dunk a bit happier about this safety car, though, that he unintentionally caused. I'm glad we agree, Groggers, that it is dumb. It's just, it's unnecessary, but it's left us to some exciting racing towards the end, hasn't it? With 12 laps to go, we're going to find all of these drivers within a second of each other across the line once we decide to restart the race here. If the safety car is in this lap, we'll get the call around Spoon. And we'll go through the full order now. Funky Cactus leading the way from P17 somehow. He's up into P1. 2 Aston Martins there leading the way, it seems, with the safety car out. Ronan in P2, but he's on the hards. He's going to get swallowed up pretty quickly. Alpha Nisus in P3 with Gert in P4. Gucci Lucci in P5 leads out B-Dunk in P6 with Zenify in P7. Safety car not in this lap, so we're going to go at least one more lap here. Yeah, finally an Aston Martin in the lead. It's a 1-2 for Aston Martin across the line there as the safety car leads Funky Cactus across. Hey, Ace up here in the P8 after his early spin-off through the hairpin. He's recovered a bit. Indian Cyclone in P9. He's been an unfortunate recipient of some bad luck here. He was in the top 3 for all of this race and now finds himself in P9 on the mediums with now 11 laps to go. Killer F1 in P10 with Silkweaver in P11. Now Silkweaver's much faster than P11. We've seen it. He's been on the podium multiple times. Shari F1, another driver, been on the podium. Race wins here at PPR. He's a legend almost at PPR. And Morport here in P13 with King Kirk. P14. That's quite surprising as well to see him this far down. A quick driver there in the McLaren with Groggy Oregano in P15, the Alpine teammate of B-Dunk. So there we have it from Groggers. We have team orders at play. It's going to be the safety car to win. And I do take bribes, by the way. So if you want free shout-outs, let me know. Maybe I can throw a little wrench out onto the circuit or something. I can do something here. Maybe send a message to one of the drivers as an overtake's occurring. You just let me know. I do take bribes. Yeah, those Aston Martin stockholders definitely are excited right now. They can't get that stock over $26 for some reason. It's been holding stagnant ever since Toto Wolff bought some. Safety car is in this lap as we see through 130R here. So Funky Cactus is going to become the provisional safety car, and he's going to back up the grid a little bit and get a little bit funky with it. I wish I had a soundboard. Maybe I'll get that going for a couple weeks' time for Funky Cactus. Let's get funky here. Through the Casio triangle. He gets the side wind to go, and he's done it. And he's released well ahead of Ronan there. And look at this. Across the line, he's going to be a second and a half ahead. And just terrible reaction time from everybody else who wasn't able to catch up to Funky Cactus there. And Alpha Nesis is going to be able to close in on Ronan and get through here. Gert is going to be closing in on this battle as well, as we see these other drivers getting involved through turn number 1 here. It's going to be the Haas there with a Mercedes and a Red Bull. Silkweaver. Oh, there's a ton of movement going on, but let's move back up towards the top. Gert's going to be closing in on Ronan. There's got to be team orders at play here. You see one driver on 16-lap-old hard tires, one driver on fresh softs. Let the quicker driver through. You got to be yelling in his ear right now. You got to see that's your teammate and let him go. So there goes the Alpine of B-Dunk attacking the Williams of Gucci Lucci right there. Morport is retired from the session out of nowhere. What has happened? Morport is off. Can we get a view right now? There we see him into the barriers. Looks like a crash out there from Morport. So we move back up. It's going to be another full safety car. So excuse me while I take a bathroom break. All right, I am back, and I see somebody asking you about penalties there, so I'll switch over. There's the pen situation. Everybody that wants to show the pens can see the pens now. Ronan, I don't really get what's going on there. I guess maybe he thinks he's going to take the horse to the end. It's possible. Oh, he can't. He hasn't boxed yet. So Ronan still has to box here. But how about Funky Cactus? Once again, leading the way here. Some 16 positions in this race into P1 in that Aston Martin. And we saw it at the start of the race. He was up 7 positions quickly, and then just was working his way through the field, slicing his way through. The first safety car came out, worked out perfectly for the top, let's call it top 5 or so, other than Ronan, and it was just brilliant there. Now we're going to see, I don't know. Now I'm chuckling a bit. He's just staying out. It's almost a meme at this point. Will Ronan box? What will come first, Ronan boxing or the entire grid for 2022 being announced? We could just keep going on with this. What will come first, Ronan boxing or Kimi Räikkönen retiring? No, he didn't. I just tossed it up just for confirmation because I thought the same thing, Groggers. Thought the same thing as you, but if you take a look there at the left-hand side, he has not made a stop. Plan C plus 10 laps now. I don't know. Because the funny thing is, if he had boxed under the first safety car, this safety car may have worked out in his favor a bit with a good restart. How did Killer get through on Silkweaver there? What just happened? Can't overtake under safety car. Yeah, Groggers, I'm with you. It's interesting. We see Ronan in P3 here. He hasn't boxed yet. You can see it on the left-hand side. He's just staying out. Whoa! Shari just retired. I hope there wasn't contact or anything. I didn't see any announcement. Back up towards the front, though, it's Funky Cactus leading the way from Alpha Nesis. Alpha Nesis on pole position had led the way until the safety car had come out. Safety car in this lap, though. So here we go. Back to racing conditions in a moment. We'll go on board with Funky Cactus. Actually, go on board with Alpha Nesis, who will give us a good point of view. Do I see some raindrops out there as well? I think I do see some raindrops as we get down to the last quarter of this race. How about this? Here's Funky Cactus. He's going to take off there and gets a good launch. Not as good as before, but with some raindrops falling here all of a sudden. Is this Ronan's strategy? Does Ronan know that weather will come into play here? Will he jockey positions here with his teammate? Is he going to switch on to the intermediates here at the end? Is this a master class of a strategy? Is Glenn Hurricane Schwartz in the ear? Oh, and there's Gert into the wall. He's DNF'd. Not a chance. Gert had DNF'd all of a sudden. Groggy, Ace, and Amy and Cyclone are going to be out on intermediates. And oh man, now we have disaster striking. Gert had DNF'd into the wall. Drivers out on the intermediates before the track has really gotten wet here. But with 7 laps to go, we're going to have quite a mixed bag of strategies going on. I would like to contact any local radar stations, get in touch with the Alfa Romeo team, see if they might have a source there, because Ronan is still out on 19-lap-old hard tires without boxing, and all of a sudden the rain starts falling here without much of an indication. And Gucci Lucci is here in P4. His good mate, Gert, is out of the race now. DNF, that was just super unfortunate. But I guess that's what happens with this wet weather conditions. Are we going to see some drivers box here up towards the front? It's Funky Cactus and Alpha Nisa still leading the way here. This is the battle that we need to keep an eye on. But back here we see even closer battles going on. Yeah, I agree. I think it's too dry right now. As here goes the Alpine of Bidon challenging Gucci Lucci into turn 1 here. Look how close they are getting. Has to just back out of it. Let's just look at Groggy, Oregano, and Ace for a second and see how they're managing these intermediates. These have to be mighty slow. They seem super slow through here as the rain just really getting to the point where it's going to come into play. I think this might have been a lap early, but you know what? If it's a lap early, it still might be a good call. Yeah, Ronan all of a sudden here, with the weather channel up, has been able to hold on to this P3. And now that we're switching over to the wet weather conditioned tires, Ronan just an absolute masterclass here, if this is what it turns out to be. And what has happened to B-Dunk? Wait a minute. B-Dunk all the way down into P9. I completely missed something there. I hope there wasn't contact, as there's that yellow flag out there for him. And 3.5 hours of streaming here has caused me to get a bit complacent, as here goes a Ferrari and a Williams battling it out right now. Oh, and a brilliant camera angle for once. Thank you, Cody's, for that, as there's some beautiful battling going on. Gucci Lucci's going to sacrifice that. You can't fight that back. What are you doing, Lissandra? You lose out 4 positions there. You just know you can't battle that. You need to break a bit earlier there, but doesn't happen just yet. Silkweaver back up into P4 from P10 at the safety car restart. This is a brilliant job from him there in that Mercedes. Ronan up next is going to be on those hards and still maintaining a gap. So can somebody do me a favor and keep an eye on the gap between B-Dunk and Ace? I want to see if Ace is a bit quicker than B-Dunk there. It looks like they're about the same, if not B-Dunk being a little bit quicker. With 5 laps to go in this race, I don't know that you're going to make up 20 seconds in the wet, but you could see getting a bit more developed out there. I wish they had the physics of ACC or iRacing, where you had a bit of a better idea what the actual conditions are out on track, but it looks like it's getting pretty wet out there for Funky Cactus. What's he gonna do here? See, the issue is, if he bites first, goes into the pit, I have a feeling that Alphanesis is gonna stay out, whereas if Ronan goes in first, that could be interesting. Or maybe Silkweaver here, as he should be able to get through on the Alfa Romeo right now. And this is just a brilliant job from Ronan. He's 21 lap old, hard tires, and still battling for a podium position right now from Silkweaver, one of the quicker drivers here. As here goes Alphanesis and Funky Cactus side by side across the start-finish line. It's going to be Alphanesis in the lead of this race once again here. Down into turn number 1, he's going to lead the way from the Aston Martin, as we have a 5-second time penalty handed out. Ronan's into the pits. He's going to switch on to the intermediate tires. It's a masterclass strategy from Ronan, as he would have had no chance of being this high up the order without that switch over to the wetter compound tires. Funky Cactus 5/10 off of Alphanesis. Silkweaver the next closest, 6 seconds down the road there. Gert wishes he was somewhere in this mix, but unfortunately binned it right about there before the Dunlop curve. This is interesting. I'm going to toss up, not a prediction, but I'm going to toss up a poll so everybody can vote. Who wins? I can only put up 5 people, so we'll put up Alpha, Funky, Silk, Zen, and Kirk. These are the only drivers we can put up. It'll stay up for 2 minutes. Go ahead and vote now. I can't. I already... All right, go ahead and vote now. Who you think's going to win the race? You see 1 vote towards Funky Cactus, 1 vote towards Alphanesis so far. Those are the 2 drivers leading the way. If one of the drivers behind decides to go onto the intermediates and that becomes the de facto tire for this race, they're going to have to switch over. Who knows if that makes up that 20-some seconds of gap there. No, unfortunately, I could only put 5 people in, so I just put the top 5. Sorry for that. Oh, as we see King Kirk going in, that's because Silkweaver... Gucci Lucci's going in. Zenify is going in the box as well. So a lot of the front runners are boxing now. Oh, and this could be an absolute change of the guard here with Alphanesis, Funky Cactus, King Kirk staying out right now. The rest of the drivers going on to intermediates. Look how squirrely they're getting here. What is going to go on for the soft runners? It could be one of the intermediate runners that gets through here. Oh, and Alphanesis had a massive issue there. I didn't even see what quite happened as I was paying attention to something else. Just can't control these soft tires right now. And Silkweaver could all of a sudden become your race winner. Go ahead and use that poll to decide who is going to become the race winner here as Biggles joins the chat of all people. Biggles, this has been the most exciting night of racing I have seen in months. Xbox Tier 2 and Tier 1 have absolutely brought it this evening. We've had a late couple of safety cars here. All of a sudden, wet weather conditions are coming out, and we see Silkweaver closing the gap to Kirk, Alpha, and Funky at the top. Absolutely insane here in Xbox. So Alpha Nesis has the most votes there. Nobody voted for Silkweaver. Silkweaver has a great chance to win this race. Funky Cactus is going to dive into the pit, so Funky Cactus is going to end up behind at least Silkweaver here. Now what's going to happen for Alpha Nesis? Is he going to go into the box? He must. And here he goes. King Kirk stays out. King Kirk staying out right now. On the sauce, he feels he has it. With 2 laps to go, could King Kirk win the race? Somebody voted for King Kirk out there, and King Kirk has stayed out right now on the salt tires. This has gotten too exciting for me to commentate by myself. B-Dunk has DNF'd from the session. All but one driver, as long as they finish, will finish with points. Alpha Nesis comes out in P7, completely destroying his race. Silkweaver out of P3. How are they so far apart? I don't know, but wow, King Kirk has stayed out, and as long as he holds off Funky Cactus, King Kirk may win this race. He might do it. He's got a lap and a half to go, right? Something like that here. Or 2.5 to go. Who knows? He's very, very slow as Funky's catching him, and unfortunately, I don't think King Kirk has it, but Funky Cactus started at the back of the grid, finds himself now challenging all of a sudden for P1 in this race. Groggy Oregano, the first of the drivers to go onto those intermediates, is unfortunate. Oh, and P11, there goes King Kirk. He's off the circuit right now, and Spoony rejoins in the middle of the track, out of the way of Funky and Silkweaver, who are battling for P1 right now. Xenify's there as well, so King Kirk is not the man to vote for. It's Funky Cactus all of a sudden at the top of the timing table, and he leads Silkweaver by quite a few moments. Everybody out there who said Kirk might have it, you need to delete all of your past chat history, or we're going to find it and we're going to post it all over. Bagels, I wish I could change my vote as well. Oh, wait, no. I think I voted for Funky. I don't remember who I voted for. I clicked on somebody's name. Funky's here in P1. I think it was Alpha, actually. Silkweaver in P2. Said to keep an eye on him. The races here at Suzuka have been so fun to watch, as Ace gets through on King Kirk as well. As here comes King Kirk out of the pits. And what an unfortunate showing for the McLaren team. Still looking for a double points finish, but I'll tell you what, after watching this McLaren team that were able to qualify in the top 6, all of a sudden down in P9 and P10, it's just truly an unfair world, isn't it? So Funky Cactus might not agree with that. Take a look at this. He is up 16 positions. He did not set a qualifying time during that session. Started in P17, worked his way all the way up into P5 within a few laps time, and now he's in P1 with a lap and a quarter to go. Don't blame me, Biggles. It was not me. Biggles, you've been in another country more than Australia in the past 10 years. I don't know that you can consider that still. So Silkweaver and Funky Cactus is the battle to watch right now. Gert had an issue through Dunlop. If you don't know Dunlop, I'll show you the corner in a moment's time, Gert, where he went off. Funky Cactus still leading the way here, 8/10 ahead of Silkweaver. Silkweaver mighty quick in this Mercedes. A driver to keep an eye on in the Drivers' Championship as well. This is where Gert lost it. right there into that wall and DNF from the session. I thought it was a bit of an unfair DNF. It seemed like that car just picked up massive damage off of a light collision, but it happened, and unfortunately for him, he's going to pick up no points in this session, and something tells me he would have been up there fighting for a P5 or so at the very least. But how about Ronan? Up here in P4, a driver we were all counting out and saying, what is going on? Yeah, Pitbull, you can blame it on me. The good old commentator's curse. We've had a few of them tonight, and if I could have one more, there's not a single driver that I would want to do it on other than Gucci Lucci here. So, we'll go on board with him for a moment. As we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, it's actually Groggy Oregano off there, so not Gucci, as he's coming through after the hairpin. Zenify's DNF'd! So Zenify has been out now, and that promotes Ronan up into a podium position, and this has been an absolute catastrophe of a race for some drivers, but a brilliant race for others, as Funky Cactus races towards the finish line here. He's going to finish 7/10 ahead of Silk Weaver there for P1 and P2. Ronan is going to cross the line in P3 with penalties at play here. Killer F1 crosses P4, but Alpha Nisus will grab that position from him. Gucci Lucci will be the next driver to cross the line here in a moment's time. Now, what is the gap to Hey Ace there behind? It looks like it's big enough to not come into play. Gucci Lucci crosses in P6 there. Hey Ace, the next driver across the line in the Red Bull, stays P7. King Kirk crosses the line P8, but gets demoted by his teammate. Oh, double demoted. Indian Cyclone all the way up to P7 there. Groggy Oregano, the last driver to cross the line here. We'll get there in a moment's time, and he will collect a point for doing so in this race. That was absolute mayhem, is the only way to define that race. So there goes Groggy across the line, showing us what he does best and spinning into the wall. All right, so with some great racing here, deservedly so, Funky Cactus gets the driver of the day from Cody's. They've finally done something right and picked a driver who went last to first in today's race. The Aston Martin team finishes P1. The Aston Martin safety car finishes there on the podium as well. You can see them at the constructor's stand. As they celebrate here on the podium, it is the Canadian doing what he does best and thanking everybody for being up there. How about that one, chat? That was a good one. 2 races in a row. Absolutely incredible here at PPR Esports. Join us, ppresports.com. And here is your Formula One Japanese Grand Prix race results. Funky Cactus grabs the race win from Silk Weaver there. It's going to be Ronan in P3 with Alpha Nisus there in P4. Killer F1 finishes P5 just ahead of Gucci Lucci there. Indian Cyclone in P7 with Ace in P8. King Kirk and Groggy Oregano round out the points finishers as well as the only finishers for today as Zenify finishes P11. B-Dunk is going to DNF P12. Sorry, all of these drivers DNF. B-Dunk, Gert, Shari, Mortport, Night Shrimp, and Marlone. Feels like it's been a while since we've said those names because that was quite a long race here. But with all of that said and done, Funky Cactus somehow went last to first. Congratulations to him. We'll see if we can grab an interview, possibly. Maybe. Who knows? While we're standing by for that, I hope everything didn't just freeze. And I think everything did just freeze. We'll just act like it did. Silk Weaver's in here, though. Silk Weaver. I think we're still live because my Streamlabs has decided to freeze up on me a little bit, so I just go straight into the interviews? We are still live, so how about I hear it from you first? Absolutely sad race, but it was still some great effort from you. So I want to hear from the Mercedes driver. Go ahead and talk us through a chaotic race.
Yeah, that race was wild. I don't think I've ever had a race with like such ups and downs and highs and lows. The weather was crazy. Like the track is just, the curbs are death. I spun like twice. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't even know how. I have to go back and rewatch the stream because I don't even know how I ended up second. Like I don't even know what happened.
Bro, listen, from somebody who watched from the overhead, the easy angle to watch and go, this is what's happening right now. I didn't have any clue what was going on, and nobody in chat knew what was going on either. It was all of a sudden just insanity.
Yeah.
So, but still, insane pace from you throughout. Do you feel like this is something all of a sudden you can challenge for the championship at the end of the season?
I'd have to get way more consistent. I'm not really consistent right now.
I don't know. I've seen your name up there towards the top quite a lot. What do you think's holding you up in what you consider consistency?
Practice. I see more practice.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, that's a very fair point, but I've seen your name up here a lot and talked to you a few times already, so I know you're a quick driver and hopefully continued success for you.
Thanks. And GG to Funky. And who third? Ronan?
Ronan,
GG,
yeah.
Man. Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually going to jump over to Ronan if he is available. I believe he is. So Ronan is a driver that I think everybody in chat wants to hear from as well, because we were, this sucks to say, but almost like laughing at the strategy, 22 lap old hard tires, and we're saying what's going on with Ronan. But Ronan somehow was in touch with a meteorologist before the race and knew that the wet weather conditions were coming. Ronan, are you here with us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there you are.
All right. Yeah, no, it was a gamble. I started in the back, so I took a look and thought I'm gonna do the hards all the way to the end. So yeah, it was a gamble, but when the two safety cars came out, I just kept checking the weather report, and of course, love Cody's. It was 15 minutes rain due for about 30 minutes, but yeah, I was able to make them last. So strategy won me third on that one.
Yeah, that was so much fun to watch, man. I just couldn't believe that you managed to pull it together there. From hards to intermediates is not the strategy I expected to end up on a podium here, but it did. Did you feel like your pace was where you should have ended up, or was that strategy coming into play?
It was more strategy. I felt like I could have pushed for maybe even second, but there were some instances on track where I lost some time. But yeah, definitely it was strategy that kept me there.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. You have to be happy about that. I'm sure if you watch back any bit of the race, you'll be upset for your teammate who he unfortunately binned it into the corner of Dunlop there after the S's, just as the wet weather conditions were settling in there. So maybe you can toss your meteorologist friend over to him and he can get a good idea of what to expect.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Brilliant podium from you. And now I have to toss it over to Funky Cactus. Last to first in this race, and I wish I had questions prepared for such a brilliant display, but I truly don't, and I just want to hear from Funky firsthand. What the absolute hell was that? How do you do that in Suzuka?
I know you're really tired. You've done 2 streams, so I'll try to keep it short. Also GG's to Silkweaver, and Ronan actually also coming from the back with me, I believe. So really well done to him as well. But yeah, I knew the rain was coming later in the race from the weather forecast. So I decided to go on the mediums, and the safety car came my way, the softs. When I was left out on the lap, when it was me and Alphanesis and everybody else pit for the inters, it was just a really scary moment seeing Alphanesis go off into the wall, because I just didn't know if what I did was right. But coming out ahead of Silkweaver and defending for the final 2 laps, it was quite a hard effort with how difficult the track is to drive on. But yeah, honestly, I'm very surprised myself.
Hey, man, you had to be absolutely thrilled about that. It was so much fun to watch, and this is one of those tracks that I'd love to hear from you as a quicker driver that we see in this game. It's got to be one of the more difficult tracks to drive on in wet conditions with slick tires, like the softs in particular. Did you find yourself struggling a bit there?
Overall, the soft tires are quite good in the wet, like generally, but the lap that me and Alpha stayed out on, I knew that it was already too late. Like when I saw him spin off, I was starting to lose traction myself, just going flat out through some of the corners that are already flat on the dry. They were becoming quite slippery. But yeah, somehow I held it off. It was quite tough though. The softs around here, traction's already quite limited, and the rain just made it a lot worse.
Well, brilliant, and congratulations on your race win. That was absolutely so much fun to watch, and congratulations to Silkweaver and Ronan for their podium positions as well. And, well, with all of that said and done, it's been a couple of streams in a row, a bit solo here in the booth, but no complaints from me. And if you've enjoyed the stream, drop a follow, and thank you to everybody out there who tuned in. Everybody else, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and take care, everyone.